Stop.
Hey, internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Welcome to Paradise, Michigan, our Kids on Bikes role-playing game that takes place in 1980-something in the fictional town of Paradise, Michigan. This is episode 22, The Sum of All Evils. And in just a few moments, we'll do a little bit of a recap to bring everybody back up to speed, and we'll pick up where we left off in our last session. And for the recap, I'm going to do something just a little bit different, and this is the first everybody's hearing about it. Tamiko will be along shortly, so have no fear, and hopefully that means when Tamiko shows up, we'll have bingo cards in the chat. In the meantime, take a look over in that upper right hand corner up above where Tamiko would be, where M is pointing right now, and you'll see some delicious tasty terrain treats domain pops. +1 to fun. These handy little tasty little treats are our domain dice for this game. The way that domain pops work is first you, the audience, subscribe, resubscribe, gift subs, cheer with bits, tips, all that kind of stuff. It'll earn domain pops that the players can then use for things like adversity tokens, giving them +1 for rolls, or they can choose to spend 5 of them for a D100 roll on the D100, I keep forgetting what it's called. I even changed the name of it.
Chaos table. We should just call it the chaos table.
The D100 mystery grab bag table.
In which oak table.
Shut up, Jeremy. Gosh.
Very good things
accident.
can happen, and very bad things can happen. Most recently, Carrie called for Chad to roll the die, and Chad is afflicted with something called, or rather his character, is afflicted with something called the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill, in which a green moss-like fungus is starting to grow across his body, and he has approximately 24 to 48 hours to find a cure or die. So no pressure at all. But this kind of fun can be had when you earn them domain tokens, or sorry, domain pops. We don't even have a thing called a domain token.
Jake
I don't know why I said that.
Freaking bullies us when we don't use them often enough. He's like, boys, it would be a good time.
Sure would be a good time for chaos.
And when we're a little hesitant, he's like, okay, dork.
There's some dead air here. Wonder if we should roll on the table.
Chaos.
So, what else do we got? Well, it happens to be that there is a rather large announcement that we've made a couple of times, and there's actually a little bit of an extra bit of information to go with that. So allow me to tell you, the audience, about... Oh, hold on one second. Before I go into that, I got the notification that says Tamiko is waiting in the waiting room. So we're going to do a quick little shuffling of cameras.
While Jake's doing the shuffling of cameras, you might as well check us out on teespring.com. At teespring.com, we have all kinds of cool logos like the one Jeremy is wearing. We also have logos for your more fantasy-oriented TTRPG games, and you can get them on mugs, tank tops, hoodies, and so much more. Teespring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
I got Paradise on my bits.
As anyone would want.
It doesn't quite hit the same as ham on my goodies.
It's true.
So
it's cats. I have cats on my goodies today.
Yes, and Tamiko's still covered on the overlay. Shall we reveal Tamiko? Or
yeah, I guess I should.
we're doing a Phantom of the Opera thing. Okay.
Let's see. Where's that device? There we go. Surprise! It's Tamiko.
Hey!
I'm not
Wild Tamiko
sure
appeared.
if your camera tilted or something. You look like you're crowding the top of the...
It's like
Okay.
a hostage video.
So, now that Tamiko's here and getting all settled in, I can continue with the announcement I was just about to make, which is we are very excited to announce that on September 30th, Saturday, at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, that there is a Dungeons and Dragons charity live stream event. Todd Stashwick's Nerd Circus presents Legends of Eleanor, The Light of the Child. This game will be benefiting the Pablo Foundation, which is an organization that does amazing things to help kids with childhood cancer. That is what their organization is focused on. And we've been talking about how you very well could have a chance to play in this game. And there was an auction that was running and that ended recently. However, we have another seat. There's only one seat was filled. So that means you have a chance to play in this amazing game alongside Matthew Lillard, Mika Burton, Tawny Newsom, Jack Quaid, and Dungeon Master Todd Stashwick. The link I appended to the end of the description that Jeremy just tagged into the chat. If you follow that link, you can go right to the Charity Buzz auction, which will be running until next Tuesday, September 27th, until 4 p.m. Eastern. I will tell you that the bidding is currently on this one at $1,050. The first seat went for about $4,000. So all of this is money that is going directly to our benefit for Pablo Foundation. We're very excited to be partnering with Todd Stashwick and this amazing cast to bring you 3 hours of just D&D fun for a great cause. And I did confirm this, that the setting, Eleonora, which is named for a young teen girl who recently lost her battle with cancer. It's named in her honor, but it is Todd Stashwick's custom setting that he is developing. And this game is the premiere of that setting on MTD. And there's a good chance you might see some more Eleonora in the future on MTD as well. So please do check out that auction if that's something you've got the funds for. You have a chance to sit at the table with this amazing cast. But if not, please join us in chat while the game is being aired on Saturday, September 30th, because it's going to be a good time. We've got tons of great giveaways, some custom items that will be given away, signed items that are donation incentives. It's going to be a really good time. Lots of cool stuff. The next thing that I want to mention is just a reminder that sometimes our games can deal with intense subject matter. You may hear, despite the fact that these players are all playing kids and teenagers, or maybe because they're all playing kids and teenagers, you might hear some adult language. And there will be some intense situations from time to time. First, know that we, the players, have safety tools in place. We are keeping an eye out for one another, and we know what to do and what to watch out for if things start to get a little intense. Secondly, if these kind of situations or language is something that you are offended by or you don't want to witness, feel free to click on any other stream anywhere else in the World Wide Web. We will not be offended. Finally, we just want to remind you, as we always do, because it is so very important here at MTD, we want you to know that you matter. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. There can be any number of reasons that you might be struggling. It is okay to not be okay. Struggling is, from time to time, we all struggle, but you do not have to struggle alone. At any time, you can come into our chat and you can type !help, as Jeremy has just done, and you'll see a couple of URLs pop up. They are findahelpline.org, or you can check out takethis.org's growing list of resources. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I would like to welcome you all to Paradise, Michigan in 1980-something. Things have gotten pretty intense very recently, with birds falling out of the sky, a heat wave, temperatures are consistently, day by day, are over 100 degrees. Trying to get some respite in the air-conditioned house, playing some Dungeons and Dragons. Unfortunately, the power went out, which means the air conditioning went out. So naturally, our kids hopped on their bikes and skateboards and headed for the beach. Along the way, they discovered that the power outage was a little broader than they expected, in that cars were stalled alongside the road. All shops had no power. Vehicles could not start. They went to the beach and decided to have a good old swim or sit in the shade or sun. Some very intense heart-to-heart conversations were had, and that was immediately followed by hundreds, if not thousands, of fish turning up dead in the water, including a very large alligator creature known as James, apparently turning belly up. As well as a helicopter flying into the airspace over the town, suddenly losing power and crashing. In an attempt to get away from questioning from the police and everything else going on, you sought out your an organization you know as the Seven, though you've only met 5 of them. During your time taking refuge in their basement, Oak realized that he had a mysterious fungus that was growing on his arm.
That sounds less menacing than it is.
Yeah.
Oak's got a fungus.
At the same time, a scientist who they had only briefly seen at the laboratory, though Jessica had seen a little more, or rather a little less briefly while captive in the labs, appeared, said he didn't feel too well, and collapsed. Eventually, this culminated in, Dr. K revealing his identity. Dr. K, the 42-year-old scientist, is none other than an adult Orson Axel Kubrick. He encouraged you all to go to the laboratories, or rather to his special secret laboratories. Let me say secret. Special sounds a little untoward. Sounds like a special episode of Different Strokes. You traveled by the ley lines and appeared in his laboratory, where Billy felt the pull of his wild self, but resisted it. However, Jessica was unable to resist the ley lines' power and fractured into her reflective self known as Anne. And for the first time ever, Anne is manifested physically alongside the rest of these kids and teens. To make matters even more interesting, as you showed up in this lab, a mysterious figure in an all-white suit, white shoes, white shirt, white jacket, white tie, and red round sunglasses, acknowledged Dr. K, and Dr. K said, "Hello, Algernon. Rosie, tell me one exciting thing that has happened recently."
Like since we've been in Paradise?
That could be any time in Paradise. Yeah.
Okay. Exciting things. Rosie is really nailing down her slider. Rosie is like, she's never been able to do it. She just can't. She has, been practicing it as long as she can remember. And she's getting to the point now where she can hit it in the strike zone at least 90% of the time, which is a drastic improvement, even in just the last week and a half. And so she's feeling very confident about that. And for just a minute, there's a glimmer that she might be able to. This whole grand scheme is to make her high school's baseball team, which is obviously very unorthodox because it's a boys' team. But where there was kind of a loss of hope over that, there's now that she has this pitch, she's thinking maybe the window is open again.
Billy, what is the thing that has happened since you've been in Paradise that is the least favorite of yours?
He's the least favorite thing. I'm gonna say, jeez, there's so many things that are just what the heck.
Good point.
I'm gonna have to do this multi-part. So, like, to himself, the whole process of the first interrogation dream that he had was certainly off-putting, and the director Sharp telling him the second time of, like, we own you, that certainly doesn't sit well with him. But once Oak kind of revealed, like, all right, I got 24 to 48 hours to figure this out, I gotta say that's globally for the group gotta be the worst possible thing. Like, we gotta solve this so that our friend doesn't just fall over and die.
Laz, since you've been in Paradise, who or what has been your favorite person, place, or thing?
I think probably bombing the hill on his skateboard. Once he found that, he was able to have, like, a place where he could seek his zen. I don't know that he would necessarily put it that way, but a place where he could kind of quiet his demons. And I think that's probably been his consistent go-to since he's been here.
The old Stone Hill winding road.
Yeah, that's the one.
Jessica, since you've been in Paradise, what has been the most annoying thing you've had to deal with?
I have to pick one. Most annoying has been I would say probably going through. Jessica's gone through a lot of doors and ended up in a lot of, like, different places than what she is starting to get a little frustrated with not being able to go through a door and expect what's on the other side.
Coop, what if Coop were going to one, survive all of this, and two, one day write a book or memoir, expose, article, whatever it may be, about his experiences in Paradise in 1980 something, what would the title of this piece be called?
Probably Where is James? Fact or fiction?
It's absolutely like one of those
Awesome.
Bigfoot
I'm
series.
really looking to Jonathan Frakes being the narrator of everything too. You know.
God, has to be.
Have you ever heard of a giant alligator? Have you ever heard?
Do you remember the tallest man you've ever met? Would you spend a night in a haunted mansion?
I feel like every one of his questions could just be a hook for a adventure.
Obviously.
And finally, Oak.
Yes.
Oak. You have a countdown timer looming over your head. Knowing that, faced with your own mortality at the age of 12 in the mysterious town in 1980-something, what is the most important thing that you would want to tell your friends before you die?
Okay, I'm gonna have to unpack that for a second, so just give me a minute. So I think here's what I think we're gonna do. We're gonna do a quick like scan or a flashback. Is that cool if I take a little bit of a second?
There's a reason I saved you for last, because it was the heaviest, and it's also going to transition back into the game. So
okay, so
absolutely, do your thing.
Here we go. We see Oak as he is right now. Okay. Around him is nothing but like sheer blackness, like absolute darkness. And then the walls start to come up, and each wall is that of a stained glass window. All of the stained glass is made out of green glass. All of the stained glass is made out of green glass, and each edge of all of the stained glass is brass. Okay? Each edge of all of the stained glass is brass. So he is now looking out of this, essentially a greenhouse of nothing but of brass and green. And in that moment, he's not only seeing like a spotlight that shoots over at all of his friends, like seeing them in the room with himself currently right now. Then there's another spotlight that like zooms in on his dad and his mom in the hospital as they're going to the emergency room because she's going into labor, and he's like running down the hallway and doing all of this stuff. And he's literally watching his life, like the moment where you watch your life flash before your eyes and everything is happening. There's a conversation that happens between his mom and the doctor, and they're like, we have to inform you, we're so sorry, but in order for us to do this, we have to do these surgeries like right now. If he doesn't get them, he won't survive. Okay, cool. We flash forward a little bit further. Now he's 2 years old, and they say, okay, well, now he's old enough. Now he can go and he can get the surgeries that will allow him to walk. So, because we couldn't do the surgeries on his back when he was little. So now we have to wait, and now he can walk. So you see the mother is arguing and concerned and like praying and doing all the things that she can do. And he's having to watch all of this. And I think in that moment, all of this stuff flashes before his eyes, but then there's like all those good moments, all the good moments that he had as a kid, growing up, doing all the things, but also all the difficult moments, all of the difficult bullying and the sitting on the sidelines, watching the other kids get to enjoy and have fun while he had to recover or recuperate. And then we flash now to him being in this glass chamber, trying to push his way out because he's trying to open the door, but there's no handle. There's no handle to the door that's sitting on the end of the... So he's literally just watching all of this. He then the camera then zooms over to his friends, he watches how all of them are around, and then he just sits there in like quiet contemplation because he's panicking. He's worried because he knows that there's that clock. And he tries to think of what would he say to them if he knew he was going to die. I think he would say that life is not about the moment that it's not about every moment in our life, but it's about the moments that make us feel whole, that make us feel like a family, that make us feel warm and comforted. And to him, even in this state of chaos and concern and fear, I think the camera stops on his friends, and that sense of panic lessens off his shoulders. And he just sits there watching from this stained glass greenhouse. I know y'all are gonna try the best you can. You are, and it doesn't matter. Like, look, I'm happy. I am. Y'all are here with me right now. There's not a person in the world I'd rather be with. Y'all are here right now with me. And dude, we're gonna fix this. Don't worry. You got this. I believe in y'all. And I think in that moment, he'll just sit down in the greenhouse, and it'll flash from that perspective to current in the room with all of them. He then takes his hand and reaches over to his older self and like takes the doctor's hand in his. He says, "Hey doc, don't worry. We're all here with you. Came here to help us out. I'm gonna stick through it, one way or another."
No, isn't that touching? I see you're getting in touch with your younger self, Dr. K. And it was so nice of you to bring everyone along. Orson Axel Kubrick / Dr. K. The broken boy and the scientist. Kenny Cooper, the lonesome latchkey. Jessica Smith, +1, the fragile beauty. William Simpson, the Eagle Scout turned dog boy. Lazarus Eccles, unwanted and unloved. And Rosie Gunnarsson, the gun that killed her own mother. Well. And he just sits there for a moment, just stares. He's across the room, and he's just staring at all of you. Does anybody say or do anything in this moment?
Yeah, your trapper keeper must be really fucking brilliant. But you're supposed to be like a rat, aren't you? Well, I guess you're kind of still a rat, though.
I think you are confusing me with Templeton.
Anyway, you're just an old dude. You're not fucking voices in our heads anymore. You're right here with us, and that's probably not a place you want to be. We're gonna kick your ass.
Oh, such tough words, Rosie.
What do you want?
What don't I want, William? I want it all.
We don't have time for the slow, dramatic talk.
We've got all the time in the world. Well, most of us do, as he gives a look over to Oak.
You might not give a shit about people, but the rest of us here do. So either get to the fucking point, or get the fuck out of our way.
Let me be very clear about something, William. I am in control. From the moment you entered this place, you've been under my control. You can try to escape, but it'll be fruitless. You can try to kick my ass, but I don't think it will go the way you think it will. Besides, even if you succeeded in killing me, you may as well take your baseball bat, Rosie, and turn it on Oak here and finish the job early, end his suffering. Because without me, he will die.
If you control everything, then then fix him. Why wouldn't you fix him? There's no reason not to.
Why would I fix him?
Because he's fucking worth fixing.
To you? See, in his state right now, with his fate resting in the balance of my decisions, the strings of the puppet controlled by my hands, it's as if I'm controlling all of your strings. I push just the right buttons to piss you off, to anger you.
Whatever. What do you want?
Like I said, I want it all.
What is it all?
Look around you. Paradise. Dr. K told you all about the ley lines. You've seen what the scientists... He casts a baleful eye at Dr. K when he says this. You've seen what those scientists can do, harnessing just a fraction of their power. You, William, and you, Jessica, and Anne, you've witnessed firsthand the smallest iota of power that these ley lines within this town contain. For too long, I've been a prisoner of the Nexus Project, of Director Raven and her scientists. I'm going to take control of the whole thing from them. I'm going to excise the rot at the heart of the cherry orchard and turn this town into my own hive. Whatever I want. Evil? villainy. Here, I can be my own god. I can be your god.
Fuck you. You're no god. You're a fucking man. And I'm gonna prove it right fucking now if you don't help fucking Oak.
Why are
You
you
might not be
talking
able
like...
to die. You may not be able to die, you motherfucker, but it can fucking hurt. Do you understand me?
Why are you
And we're-
talking like you're the most powerful person here? You're not.
Aren't I?
I'm pretty sure you're not. I'm pretty sure Persephone is more powerful than you are.
What do you know of Persephone?
A lot more than you think I do since she kicked you off of the call.
For the first time, you seem to have caught him off guard.
Coop. Fuck yeah, Coop.
Even God had to deal with the fallen angels. He cast them out of hell. Out of heaven into hell. Persephone will be cast into hell where she belongs. I will deal with Persephone on my own. Persephone's not here. That still makes me the most powerful person in this room.
Well, we're still you again, you don't really care about the time, but we do. So obviously you don't want to just straight up kill us, otherwise that would have happened already. Your ego is grand and glorious, blah blah blah. Is there something you want from us to make a deal here? Or are we gonna just sit here prattling on until somebody does something stupid?
I'd be more than happy to do something stupid. It's kind of my thing.
First, Billy, I want you to understand, as you seem to know that you are under the pressure of time, I want you to be perfectly clear that I hold all the cards.
Oh my god, yes, you've said it 17
He holds,
times
as you're cussing him out, he holds his hand up and he rotates his hand in a clockwise manner. And as he does so, Oak, you feel an intense pain in your shoulder. And the fungus rapidly begins to spread from your shoulder across your chest. Roll a D100, please.
Oh, no.
Okay. So I honestly don't know how to read that, but I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it as a 17, but I'm pretty sure that's a 71 instead of the 17.
The double digit is what, Chad? The double digit die is what?
The double digit die, the one that has the double digits, is the 70. So that would be.
So that's
that
a
would be
71.
71.
Yeah.
So 71.
Well, no, sorry, it's a 70 plus a 10. So is that 80?
No,
or
you rolled
is
a
that
1,
70
right?
Flat, right?
You
No,
rolled
I
a
rolled
se-
a 10. I rolled
So that's a
10,
70.
You rolled
70.
It'd be
70 flat.
you would read it as 70, yeah.
Yeah, 70 flat. Then.
Yeah. So you feel sort of a wash of heat and cold, and you can feel the roots of this fungus, this moss, digging into your flesh and feeding off of you as it spreads up your neck and across your chest, coming across your belly, and most of the way covering 3/4 of your upper body as it spreads rapidly. And then you feel it suddenly come to a stop as Algernon closes his fist. How are you feeling, Oak?
You see Oak. I imagine it's very much like, so in his head, he's seen Star Wars, right? He's seen Star Wars. It's the equivalent of Darth Vader or Palpatine, right? Like,
Yeah.
just some full-on dark energy force choke nonsense, and like the dude just the little guy just drops to his knees, and it's like I've. You see him for a second. He seems like he's seething in pain, and then he looks up to himself, and I imagine that his counterpart, I imagine that the doctor is also seething in pain at the same time. We're both rapidly decaying at the same time. So I think he looks at his older self, and then him, and then back to the kids. And there's this moment where I think in that turn of the clock, he starts pacing his breathing. And it's like a Jedi pacing his breathing to calm himself before, like, almost how Obi-Wan calms himself before the final strike, right? There's that moment where he takes in his breath, and you could hear his voice being ragged, but he looks just straight up at Algernon. I've had more pain like that in my life. There's not a thing you can do, and mess me up, man. And you see him like try to get back up to a knee.
Roll a grit check, please.
Yes,
What a
sir.
badass. What a fucking boss.
Come
on, man.
What is my grit? My grit is a D6. Okay, cool. Let's try to explode today. I'd like to explode today, thank you. That'd be really nice. That's a 5. Okay, I'll take it. That's fine. I will. Can I add like 2 domain pops just to kind of maybe
You sure
Do
can.
Buffer that bitch.
buffer it a little
You
bit?
certainly
Buffer
can.
it.
Yeah, just gotta buffer
So that
it.
5 becomes a 7,
Buffer it.
Yeah, we're just
Buffer it. Just buffer it.
which turns your failure by 1 into a success by 1.
Fucking Chad.
Let's go.
Let's go.
This is an unimpressive success, meaning you do manage to hold your ground. You don't collapse. But you do feel Dr. K gripping your hand where you grabbed his hand incredibly tight. And you actually feel, as he grips your hand tight for a moment, you feel almost as if your hand is going to pass through his as he flickers, as this condition spreads across to you even more.
Laz steps forward and kind of puts himself between Oak and Algernon. And he's kind of talking through gritted teeth at Algernon with his fists kind of tightened next to him. You proved your fucking point, okay? You want to call yourself a god? Fine. You just fucking proved it. Not because you're so powerful or anything else, but just because you're a massive piece of shit, just like the rest of every god or king or everything else that's come before you. You just want to squish things beneath your heel. You fucking proved your point. Now what do you want, you asshole?
I knew you had it in you, Lazarus.
You're about to see a lot more if you don't fucking answer me.
I'm going to give you what you want, Lazarus and William, who are so adamant. Clearly you have no sense of theater or showmanship. Very well. I'm going to place all of the cards on the table for you to see. But know this, you cannot change the outcome of the game. I'm going to take Dr. K with me. I am going to leave all of you behind here. When Dr. K and I leave, Director Ashley Raven of the Nexus Project will be alerted. She will be most interested to find all of you here. Once Dr. Ashley Raven comes here and collects you, as I'm sure William and Jessica can attest, you will be taken care of. I won't say very well taken care of, because you know what those scientists are capable of doing. While the Nexus Project experiments on you and extrapolates whatever they can from their anomalies, I will be taking with me the most important piece of the puzzle. And one day, if you survive what the Nexus Project does to you, you may live to see me return and claim what is mine. I can't say it any more clear.
If you're such a big bad god, then why wait? What's the big deal? Why you gotta someday I will return? Fucking take what you want now. Or maybe you're not as powerful as you say you are. I've met a lot of talkers in my life, and you seem like a talker to me.
Baseball is your thing, Rosie. Have you ever played chess?
I know what chess is.
You don't lead with your king. You don't, on the first move, call checkmate. You have to plan and plot and move pieces. From the moment I saw my opportunity, I have been moving the pieces. I was the one who made it so that Templeton could escape. During that little power surge, that was where I first began to see where my victory could be had. From there, it was just a matter of interfering in the ley lines where I could, using Algernon's abilities, or Templeton's abilities, to my benefit. I must admit, I didn't anticipate the birds and the fish, but it was James' noble sacrifice, giving up his life. That was the final surge I needed. And I must admit, you all surprised me when you went into the very secret lair of the Seven, and Dr. K showed up and basically gave me the keys to the kingdom, a ley line for my own use, to come to your lab. And oh, Dr. K, what I discovered. You children have no idea what's going on here. You are visitors in something that is far beyond your comprehension. He points over to the far wall, opposite of the wall where you see all of the farm implements. And as he points at the far wall, a section of the wall slides sideways, almost like a scallop door. It's sort of like chkoom, 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 revealing an area that looks like it was dug into the ground. And inside there, you see, this is quite a large space, actually. It looks like it goes depth-wise probably 30 or 40 feet back. Width-wise is probably about 20 feet. You see what looks like a slightly damaged, scarred and scraped and burned, but otherwise intact spaceship. This looks like something, I think, for the time period, probably the closest thing that it looks like is the ship from the Flight of the Navigator. Teardrop shaped, silver, but it has a little more detail to it. You can see where there's a window that looks like a cockpit, and there is an opening leading down from under the front. That looks like a set of stairs leading up into it. Dr. K. To show that I am not a cruel or uncompromising God, I will allow you to say your final goodbyes. And then we are leaving. And Algernon walks over by where this opening is and where this ship is.
Hey. One thing I like about baseball better than your other fucking nerd game. Baseball, it ain't over till it's over, man.
I'm sure that quotation from Rosie Gunnarsson will be chiseled into marble on your statue one day.
I lean over to Lasma. He's such a dick.
Dr. K turns and looks at all of you. It's going to be okay. The fact that I'm here now means that this has all happened. And I'm still here. And you're still here. But there's something, and he's talking really low. There's something that Algernon hasn't accounted for. And he looks over at you, Oak. I don't know what you did or how you got this. But I know that without the proper help, the help that only can come from these ley lines, or from my medical knowledge, or the lab itself, I know that you will die in a little more than 24 hours. Billy, use what they gave you. Use that ferocity. Fight back at them. Jessica, Anne, once you leave this place, Anne, you will most likely go back into the mirror world. But Jessica, you know she's there. And you know how to contact her. Use that, and use not just the mirrors, but all reflective surfaces. Use those to your advantage. Laz, I don't know yet what your purpose is, but I have a feeling it's something great. And Rosie, no matter what anybody says, whether it's your dad, or whether it's some asshole rat in a suit, you are not what happened in the past. Let that go, and they can't use it against you anymore. Coop. You keep picking up everything you find. Whether it's a rock or a grenade, you keep picking up everything you find. You put it in your backpack, because I know you're gonna know how to use it. The Nexus Project, if they have a chance to intercept you at any point while you are here, they will interrogate you again. You hold all the cards. They are trying to manipulate you, turn you against one another. They don't know why you're here, why any of us are here. All of you, me, you, Oak, are anomalies. They can't account for us. Which means you're unpredictable. Oak. He turns to you, Oak, and he crouches down. I don't know how this happened. It's part of the deal of it being an anomaly, I guess. And well, sometimes, whatever the game, and Rosie will tell you, sometimes you're gonna lose. Oak. Today is not the day you lose. All of you need to rely on one another. And one day you'll get a chance to sit down with them and play several games of Dungeons and Dragons. And remember, as the Dungeon Master, you get to lead them all on the adventures. You are the most important part of guiding and shepherding them. But they can't have those adventures if you're dead. And as he's been kneeling down talking to you, he sort of put one hand up on your good shoulder, and he's still holding that other hand of yours. I'm going to take this clock with me. And he squeezes your shoulder, and he squeezes your hand. And you feel the fungus, the mold, the moss burning, digging in, and you actually, anybody looking at this, you can start to see it spread up Oak's neck. He squeezes harder, and you watch as it goes. And it pulls down, and you feel the cooling sensation as it moves down your arm. And it begins receding. At some point, while he was talking to you, he switched which hand he was holding on to. And he grabbed your infected hand. And you see now that the moss is spreading up his arm. You see him gritting his teeth as he takes on this infection up his arm. And you see it get up into his chest, and he's holding it. Now.
So, Jake, in that moment where they're holding each other's hand, they're holding each other's arm, I imagine he's looking at Oak. And in this moment, it's absolutely perfect. So I just wanted to do this one thing. He's holding the arm, and he watches as the fungus moves from one arm across the way to the other arm. And at this point, he's crying because he knows what that means. There's so much fungus here, and it's gravitating to his older self. Hey, you remember You remember when we went to see Star Wars for the first time? How Dad took us? To
Yeah.
Star Wars? You tell Algernon this. And he looks square up at Algernon, like, but like whispering to himself. Strike me down now, and I will become more powerful than you ever imagined.
Yeah, dude.
Tell him that.
And he looks.
Go kick his ass for me, okay?
He looks you right in the eye, and he says, "The Force will be with you, always." And then a little bit louder, so that Algernon can hear. He says, "Now, if you could hand me my jacket," and he indicates over near you on a hook where there's a coat hanging. Space is a little cold. And taking the jacket, he's using it and sort of shielding himself so that until you hand him the jacket, he stands up. And he's using that to hide the fact that he's absorbed this fungus from you. And now that he's standing up, as he stands up, Oak, you hear the familiar sound of the shifting of the leg braces. You know, when I first started working on the Nexus project, one of the first things Dr. Sharp tried to do was tell me that he could cure me. But I didn't do it. Because my entire life has been spent living with this. I've never viewed it as a handicap. I mean, maybe we did when we were younger. But it's who I am. It's who we are. It's not something to overcome. Just keep that in mind. I don't know if we'll see each other again. And he looks around at all of you. Give him hell and fuck shit up. And he turns and he walks towards Algernon. He says, turns back to all of you. Just remember, be unpredictable. He turns and he walks up the steps of this craft. And Algernon turns and looks at all of you and says, well, it has been a pleasure. I hope genuinely that I get to see you once again, if only to see the looks on your faces when I claim my kingdom. He gives an exaggerated bow. You hear his hard-soled shoes clicking on the metal walkway as he steps up into this vehicle. You don't hear the sound of engines powering up. You don't hear any kind of machinery whirring or spinning up. All you see is this walkway silently lift up and close into the belly of this ship. After a moment, the three pieces that are extending downward, they almost look as if somebody had just pulled the metal down into these points. They just recede up into it, and the whole thing is just floating. It begins to vibrate and becomes blurry. And it's as if you blink, and in that moment between the blinking of your eyes, it's just not there. It happens so quick, it's almost like you question, was it there in the first place? The ship is gone. Dr. K is gone and Algernon is gone, and you are left in a mysterious lab that you have no idea where you are or what kind of a building you're in or anything. What would you like to do?
So,
Holy shit.
I look around. Is there anything useful, interesting, anything that catches my eye in this place? Because, as I'm looking around, I'm going to say we need to move.
Rosie would rush over to Oak, and she would like pretty immediately like take his face in her hands and like look him over and be like, Oak, are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah. And he'll literally show you. Hands. Look.
Oh shit.
It's gone. You can see he's kind of wiping some tears away from his eyes, but
I wiped one as two.
Why? I don't know what he did, but he saved me.
Is it gone or mostly gone?
It is
Do I
gone.
still have- It's gone, right? He took
Gone.
everything.
Holy
Okay.
shit. Oh wow.
He saved me. Okay.
Billy's right. We gotta go. That bird lady's coming. That's what he said.
Okay.
I would like to assist Billy in this search, and I'd like to remind you that I've got the treasure hunter feat. So
Everyone, claps for
hopefully we can
Tamiko.
find. Hopefully we can find whatever is needed in here. And Coop's gonna turn to you, Billy, and say,
I've got a good eye for things. Dr. K said I'll help you look. But I think that after we find what we need, we should burn this place to the ground.
Laz has a head start. He's like
Yeah.
throwing like a chair like against the wall, and he's very clearly dealing with some rage issues in the moment.
Okay. Y'all, he kind of there's this moment of catharsis, of like crying, of pain, but at the same time, once he gets himself together, you see him like stand up and immediately go into this state of, what do I need to do next? And he remembers the specific thing that he just said to himself, which is be unpredictable, right? So he's not doing the typical things that Oak would do. And he's legitimately going, y'all, whatever you would not do, start doing it. Whatever's not in your normal instinct, start making it happen. They can't figure us out or track us if we do the normal things, right? If we do what we normally do, if we go where we normally go, they're gonna find us. So we just gotta start being unpredictable, and we gotta start doing, pardon my language, but we gotta start doing shit that actually matters.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Right.
Jessica and what are we gonna do about her? And Rosie's pointing at the
Yeah.
Jessica she thinks is fake.
And
Which one of you is real?
I imagine they both look at each other like at the same time and look back and like he like said that she was gonna go back.
do they
One of
both
the
say that?
Jessicas.
Which one says that? Yeah, like this. Oh my god.
I think it's as you said. He said she was going to go back. Anne says he said I was going to go back.
Oh, they're not even being fucking sneaky about it. That's awesome. Well, in the meantime, we got an extra set of hands. Let's find a way out of here.
So
look, if we have to do something different, I say we split up, meet at the farm where the meteorite dropped. Place we haven't been.
Yeah.
No one's gonna look for us there.
That's
We're talking about looking at it anyway.
You don't
They
think
can't. Yeah. They can't get us if we're not all together in a clump.
Okay, so I know Coop and Billy are specifically looking for some stuff. Laz, I believe you're just trying to break as much stuff as possible.
Yeah. It started out as raging in futility at the situation that they just got out of, but now if there's some point of like constructiveness to his like destruction, then yeah, he's gonna definitely fall straight into that.
Now, this was Dr. K's lab, right? Like his hidden lab in here?
It looks very much like a lab that was constructed from probably a couple years of slowly taking things from the Nexus Project labs to this location and assembling. It has a very backroom underground lab kind of feel to it.
I'll say Oak's gonna focus on taking down, like grabbing any notes or anything that he can that was Dr. K's. Like anything that Dr. K had written down or knows about the Nexus Project, he wants to know about the Nexus Project. Because his idea is chess game. If he knows more about his enemy, he will be able to predict his enemy. So the more he knows, the better. Okay? I learned that from LeVar Burton. Okay? Reading Rainbow. The more you know. Okay?
Okay. So what's Rosie doing?
I mean, you kind of suggested maybe that this was like you said backroom lab kind of feel. I mean, Rosie's like looking for a literal door first. Like how the hell was this? He was getting in and out through the ley lines. Is that the thing? Is that the idea?
That's how you got here?
He said we could have. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm like, because he said we could have walked there, but we didn't want to be seen because of the secret.
Rosie's looking for a literal door.
Look, based on the description that was given when Jake described it last episode, we're either in a basement or we're in the barn.
So she's looking for stairs or a door.
Okay. And what's Jessica and Anne doing?
I think Jessica and Anne are having like a little meeting, a little agreement. Yeah, I think Jessica they walk off away from the others for a moment, and Jessica says, all right, so like you can't just be trying to take over my body whenever you want, because I guess we're like a team now.
Fine. I will work with you.
Look.
But you gotta let me out from time to time.
Fine.
I promise I'll let you back in.
Just don't use up all of my blue eyeshadow, and then we'll be good.
I hate the blue eyeshadow. No worries there.
Rude.
Oh, believe me, there will be a makeover.
Oh my god. Oh no.
You see like Jessica like crinkle up her nose, but whatever. We have to work together. And she like gestures to where Algernon like was standing.
Does Jessica, in her prior to Paradise, was Jessica into like I guess in the 80s it would be like aerobics and I don't think they were doing yoga back then, but
Thigh master.
Yeah. Was that something that Jessica did as part of her beauty regimen? Okay.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So Anne would say, whenever we switch places and you let me out, you know how when you exercise and you have to do a cool down and you try to focus so you don't burn up your muscles? I guess some people call it like meditating. You're going to want to do that. And then she looks around to make sure nobody else is watching. And she reaches over where you guys moved off to the side. There's, I imagine, just like one of the stainless steel tables that's got some pieces of equipment on it. She looks around, makes sure nobody but you is watching. She grabs the edge of the stainless steel table and she goes... "Arr!" With no effort, she presses her fingertips in and bends the steel.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if you're going to be able to do this, but I can pretty much kick everybody's ass here.
Jessica looks around, she's like, all right. She,
Just remember, whatever happens to you happens to me, and vice versa.
and you're like sure there's like no one in there with you?
I mean, I've never seen anyone. You're free to take a look if you want. I'll gladly let you go in first.
Heh.
And you see kind of a sly look, like she's trying to get you to... Like she's doing you a favor, like, yeah, I'll give you a turn. Sure, go on in.
Jessica like scoffs. She was like, I'm not that easy to fool.
Good.
And she looks over and she nods. All right, well, let's like go kick some ass.
Badass.
And if Anne turns her back for a second, Jessica like tries to like go over to the table and tries to move it, just like casually, but like make sure no one's watching.
Roll me a grit check.
Oh my god! What if you explode?
Actually, I have something. Where is it?
What if Jessica has the fucking grip strength of like a wrestler?
No, I got a 3.
I do rock climbing and everything. I've got the...
I need you
I've
to
got
roll me a
countless
D100.
D100?
Yep.
Okay. 49.
49.
Mm-hmm.
Reroll that, please.
44.
Where did they go? Okay. As you are attempting to move the metal in the same way that Anne did, you're not able to bend the metal. But for just a moment, you swear you pressed in on the metal. And for just a moment, it looked like, not that you were squeezing the metal, but it looked like your hand was just starting to pass through the metal. And then, and you feel almost like a magnet repelling. You feel that slight sensation of sinking repels your hand away from it, and then trying it again, you're not able to replicate that. but for just a moment, it looked like you were able to pass through the solid matter of the table.
Uh-oh. Interesting. Yeah. You see Jessica just like furrow her brows again, just like looks at her hand and just kind of like shakes it. She rejoins.
Laz, in all of your initial chaotic destruction, as you're looking for the things that look the most breakable and the things that look like they are the most expensive, so therefore would have the biggest impact when they're broken, you start to notice a pattern to some of the items in a corner of this lab. And you realize that as you're kind of making your way towards this corner, you see an array of batteries, unlike anything you've seen before. And they look like they're what's powering this lab. It's a cluster of 6 batteries. And you can see where the cables come in. And they're going into the wall and therefore powering stuff. And you realize there's no better way to cause destruction in a lab than by shorting out the power system.
Yeah, he immediately starts looking for like a length of metal, like a wrench, a screwdriver, maybe a metal clipboard.
Maybe one of many old farm implements that are stacked on one wall of this
yes, perfect
room. There's like garden hose and rakes. There's one of those big 2-person saws. There's a lot of metal bits in here. There's horseshoes and yeah.
He reaches up and grabs the blade of a scythe that's sticking out of the
God. Hell yeah.
The thing that killed Chuckles.
In fact, I would say as you grab the scythe,
no.
The rust on this scythe, the tip of it and most of the blade has a very like discolored, almost reddish brown look to it.
Oh. Yeah, he kind of grabs it off the wall, and there's that kind of nice little like shing noise, like as it, like nice. And he takes it over to these batteries, and he's literally just gonna like pitch it so that it touches across the contacts of as many.
So before you actually do that, because all of this stuff is sort of happening simultaneously. Oak, as you're looking through all of the stuff, trying to look for papers, you realize that Dr. K changed up what you're used to doing, where you scribble everything down on any kind of paper you can get your hands on and create these conspiracy boards. Dr. K has not written anything down. You see that there is a computer. It's got one of those big old clunky keyboards and a big old CRT monitor, and that's in like just green. It's green and black.
State of the art.
And as you walk over to this, you see just off to the right hand side of it, kind of tucked back where there's a couple of binders, you see what almost for a second it looks like a thermos, but it's a little narrower. And there's a piece of masking tape on the side of it. Not very big, but in black permanent marker, in what you recognize to be your own handwriting, is 3 letters. O-A-K. Next to that, there is a small silver box, square, with a cable running into the back of the computer. And the only indication of any kind of lettering or markings on this is there is on the front of this little metal box, there's a sticker of Duke Nukem.
Oh my God.
Do you take the canister?
If I know myself, yes. Yes, I take the canister.
Looking inside the canister, there is a single rolled up piece of paper. It's a heavy duty piece of paper, the kind of paper that photographs are printed on. Opening it up, you see something that looks slightly familiar, but different. This is an aerial photograph of Paradise. It is not folded up and creased. It does not have your old annotations that you noticed on the original map that you still have. This map has completely different annotations on it. This map appears to be indicating where the ley lines and nexus points are. And I will have to provide that with you to you at another time.
No worries. That's amazing. I'm so happy about that.
But this map will show you basically where the ley lines intersect to create nexus points or hotspots within Paradise. And then there's the button next to the computer. Billy and Coop. Because Coop has the treasure hunter ability and is helping you. And you were the first one out of the gate to start looking for useful things. I would like you to roll me a d4, Ted. Nope. Coop's helping you. Roll a d6.
Hey. Do good, Ted.
Gross.
Coop, roll a d4, please.
3.
The two of you find 5 useful items.
Whoa.
I will let you have narrative control over what those useful items are. You have the ability to describe what you find. It can be a familiar or unfamiliar item. But it is my narrative agency to determine what these objects do.
Ooh.
So you can, because I kind of just threw this at you, and we're going to go to break here shortly.
I was going to say, can we sit on this?
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys.
Shame we don't have 10 minutes of downtime.
Yeah,
too.
I'm going to let you guys sit on this and determine what these items are. You can describe them. Basically, whatever you can fit in a backpack or carry with you. 5 items. 2 for Billy, 3 for Coop, and put it in the Discord in the documents and info section at some point too, so that I can figure out what these things do.
Badass.
Before we go to break, I need to know, Oak, do you press the button?
On the computer?
Yes. The Duke Nukem button.
Do I press the Duke Nukem button?
If you would like to, you can roll a brains check.
I will roll a brains check, because my thought is I know what Duke Nukem is. I'm afraid that if
I'm not allowed to play Duke Nukem. I'm only 12. My mom says it's inappropriate. My mom says.
I rolled a 16.
ESRB rating of mature.
This is the first time they've ever had one.
Those ratings didn't exist then.
They didn't. No, dude. Yeah, I remember.
Wild West.
I remember being like 6 on an MS DOS playing freaking floppy copy Doom.
God. Yup.
And what, Wolfenstein? Like the original Wolfenstein on there?
Incredible.
All right. With that 16, you know that this button is designed to immediately erase all data on this computer. It is a literal nuke button for the computer. Well, not literal nuke button, but literal in the figurative. It's figuratively literal.
It's a literal button.
Yeah, it's a literal button.
So, man, do I want to do it? Because if that's everything he learned.
Bro, there's evil scientists that are going to be here any minute.
That's true. Hold on, that's true.
Scorched earth.
No, yeah, you're right. You're full right. I feel like he believes in his heart of hearts that if he's done this before, he will do it again, right? Like if he's done this before, he'll do it again, but with better knowledge.
All of this has happened before, and it'll all happen again. That's a line from the very time appropriate Information Society hack. One of the songs, that's a line that's repeated.
Yep.
Wonderful.
So yes, I will press the button.
You need to roll me a d10, please.
D10? Okay, well, alright, I guess. That's a 2! That's a
Yay.
2. Yay.
As you
Hopefully.
press the button, you hear your own voice doing an impression of Duke Nukem say, "Hail to the king, baby." As the computer suddenly goes, bzzz, and you hear the hard drive plate spinning, and you just see ASCII characters start filling up the screen as you nuke the contents of this hard drive. Rosie,
yeah,
looking around this space, you're surprised that you don't immediately find any doors out of this place.
Oh god.
It's not until, as you're looking around, Billy and Coop are rummaging through stuff. There's a moment where you're kind of, I imagine you're just sort of standing there confused, like, where in the heck is a door? And you see Laz
Rosie
in the corner.
spends like 95% of her time standing there confused.
You see Laz weirdly grab a wicked-looking scythe off the wall with a malicious look in his face. You see Jessica and Anne conspiring in a corner. You see Coop and Billy tearing through, knocking stuff over, grabbing a handful of things, shoving them in their backpacks. You see Oak over in the corner by a computer, and then you would just hear, "Hail to the king, baby." And as Oak and Billy, or Coop and Billy, move past, I couldn't get through the game.
Damn it.
As Coop and Billy move past this one area, Billy brushes past a tarp that's attached to the wall, and it slips and falls. And as it does so, there are two doors with their hinges close to each other. Both of them are green doors with brass handles.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, I think I found a way out.
Which is
So
about
I
the
win.
time that Laz drops the scythe onto the batteries.
Shit.
There's a sudden flash and just burst of sparks, and in classic 80 movies fashion, anywhere there's a power outlet, like all around the room, it just starts going. Sparks are coming from the ceiling where the light fixtures are. It's now a strobe light effect in here for a moment, and then you are plunged into darkness. And that's where we're going to take a break.
Oh, great. Awesome. Awesome.
All right.
Shit, nice job, Rage Monster.
Just doing my job.
You know.
Maybe.
Wow.
There we go.
Wonderful.
He made the burning easy.
Yeah, there you go.
So that was a little challenging to try to figure out what you all were going to do and then figure out the right order to have everything happen. So,
Incredible.
all right,
Well
we're going to
done.
go ahead and take about a 5 to 10 minute break, and then we will come back for the last roughly 45 minutes of this session. Stick around. We will see you on the other side. And we're back. The power has just gone out in the lab as Laz has just deliberately shorted out the batteries, the power source for this laboratory.
From the darkness, you just hear, "God damn it, Laz!
What?
You did this!"
Rosa, you are standing in front of the doors. Also,
I want to open the doors to try to let light in. Like, maybe there's light on the other side.
okay. You're gonna open both doors.
Yeah, fucking wing them open. If they're
Perfect.
outside, then it'll let sun in so people can see.
Perfect. You open up both doors. The door on the left is emitting a very subdued brownish gray light. It looks as if something is shrouding the other side of this door. The door on the right, the light that is spilling out of this doorway, looks like the northern lights times 100. Combined with just looking at the Milky Way galaxy. It looks like it's not like you'll... Let me clarify this. It doesn't look like you're going to step through and end up in space. It looks through... Well, maybe it does to you. It has this sort of swirling component to it. This door, very clearly, you don't know where you're going to end up if you step through it. And I will tell you, mechanically, game-wise, if you step through that door, you will roll a d6. I'm going to have every one of you roll a d6, and I'm going to take the average of those rolls, and that's going to be the result. I have 6 possible locations that this door will take you.
Oh, Jesus.
Not with this mystery door destinations.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
no
Jessica's
more fucking
favorite
doors.
thing.
Enough.
Jessica's favorite thing.
Jessica.
A door with an
Jessica
unknown
just wants
destination.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, I think we should go. I got the doors. We gotta go. We gotta go before the bird lady comes.
Okay, we have to
Move.
set the place on fire though, so that if they get here, they won't find any secrets we miss.
Oh, Coop, I think that this place is like, I don't know if we have time to set a fire. Like, how into arson are you? Doesn't that kind of take a while?
I think that Jessica would take out some hairspray from her bag and give it to Laz.
I think as Jessica pulls out the hairspray,
Oh my god.
Anne pulls out a pink Bic lighter.
Oh,
And
other
we
Jessica
would
smokes.
Both Jessica and Anne, I think, would give it to Laz.
Yeah, it's like synchronized movement. They both go, yeah,
You're the
you know what to
conduit.
do with this.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he takes the can of Aqua Velva and and the pink Bic
Wait,
lighter.
wait. Aqua Velva's aftershave, I think.
Net.
That's aftershave.
Oh, but Aqua Net.
Aqua
You're
Net,
right.
yeah.
Aqua Net.
There you go.
Laz has a thing of
I'll
Aqua
start
Velva
this-
because
yeah.
he's just started shaving
Yeah.
like this last couple months.
Pre-axe.
Oh my
Um,
god.
He's gonna take these and give the can a good shake and light it up.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So suddenly,
Oh my god!
Laz starts just spraying around, pointing this thing at anything that's flammable, and in moments, some of the various like cloth elements, like a tarp and some lab coats, I don't know, MSDS safety documents, plus wires, plastic things. This room is starting
This
to
secret
catch
lab
on fire.
is OSHA approved.
I think Dr. K /
I take it
Oak
back.
would definitely have MSDS safety documents. Yeah.
Well, Coop,
So the
I
room's
take it
catching on
back.
fire.
That was real quick. Anyway, now can we go?
Space door or
Everybody
gray
got
door?
everything they need? Space door sounds good to me. Gray door is scary. But it's up to you guys. I'm not a captain here.
You kind of are. You're standing at the doors telling everybody we gotta go.
All right, I'm gonna go, and I Rosie jump through the fucking space door.
you are exit. You're like the exit row in an airplane. You're like, everybody gotta get out, gotta get out, we're going down.
Now, if I was really cruel, I'd have each of you roll a d6 and see where you land.
Individually.
You know what?
Follow
I
your gut,
need
Jake.
somebody to volunteer as tribute.
I volunteer as tribute.
Tribute is going to roll a d100.
100.
Come on.
If
Ted.
the number that you roll lands within 15 on either side, or do we want to go with a 50%? I was going to go 30, but do we want to go 50-50?
Fucking 50. That's the
All right.
opposite of what I would want, and Oak said we are doing opposite of things now.
I've rolled a number. If you land within 25 on either side of this number, then I am going to have each of you roll, and each of you are going to show up at an individual destination that you roll.
I'm pretty smack dab in the middle. 49.
I rolled a 37.
We did suggest splitting up.
Rosie, roll me a d6. We'll see where Rosie ends up. This also means,
That's a 1.
and would have meant this anyway, that the murky gray door is also a viable option if somebody didn't want to jump through the space door.
It's a team building exercise. Let's see who trusts Rosie and who doesn't. I got a 1, Jake.
Okay, I got you. We're gonna go around. Billy, which door do you go through?
I'll go through the regular door.
Okay. Stepping through the regular door, you press against what looks like a curtain, and you almost immediately realize that you are pressing against a canvas tarp. And you kind of get momentarily tangled in it, and then it drops, allowing more light to shine in as this door appears to open up into a barn. You all can see the floor of the barn. You can see hay. You can see the sort of just through this opening of the door. You can see the slats of the barn walls. There's one section that you can see that looks like some of the boards are all broken. There's an old rusted truck in the corner. And then there's a space
Is there a
door.
skeleton on the hood of the truck?
No, there is not.
Okay, good.
No, the skeleton, the bodies all got pulled into the ground.
Oh yeah.
Laz, where are you going?
I rolled a 5.
Step through the space door, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Jessica and Anne.
They're gonna go through the space door.
Okay, roll the d6.
All right, that's a 4.
Ooh. How to make friends and influence
Now
people.
okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's what you want to hear. Ooh, that's interesting.
All of us. That's gonna be a moment on the stream because he's like, "That's interesting," and like all of us went. Eh.
Those are my favorite moments.
DMs, you don't want to hear that sentence.
Those are my favorite moments when I'm
never wanna hear
editing to look for those. What I missed while I was looking down. Coop, which door do you go through?
Space door.
D6.
5.
Space
Okay.
door.
And Oak.
Dude, this is hard because he looks at like this. Can Billy still come back through the door, or did Billy go through? And...
Billy's standing on the other side of the door in the
Okay.
barn.
Okay.
Door.
He's in the barn. Like, it's okay.
I will say, I'm going to say this because it would be visible. Jessica and Anne, as they step into the space door, they emerge through the barn door next to Billy. Both of them.
Okay, interesting. Okay. All right. I think that Laz went through the space door, right?
Yep.
Laz went through the space door. It's just because of that connection that I think he would go through the space door.
Space door.
Space door.
Roll a d6.
Unpredictability. Let's go. D6. Here we go. That's a 5.
Interesting. Coop, Laz, and Oak all rolled a 5.
Unpredictability.
Rosie.
Yeah.
You step through the door and you immediately feel your stomach drop out. You feel it like you're falling. With a jolt, you come spilling out almost as if you were falling downward. You feel yourself pass through something, and then you kind of feel resistance, and then boom, you're pulled back downward, and you feel yourself landing hard on carpet. You have just appeared out of the ley line sigil in the center of the basement under Pages where the 7 meet.
Oh, sick.
And
Great.
Sitting around you are the 5 known members of the 7. Well, technically 7 because of the 3 sisters counting as 1, but it's the 3 sisters and the others whose names I don't have in front of me right now. But yeah. Jessica.
Oh my god.
Anne. And Billy. You are all... And Billy, you... As far as you know, Jessica and Anne stepped through the door right behind you. You don't know that they went through the space door. But they came out of the door that you went through. The 3 of you are standing in a barn, a tarp lying on the ground where a open green door with a brass handle is behind you, just standing. Like, looking back, you can see that there's another 6-8 feet behind it, and there's nothing back there. The side of the barn to your left is the barn doors, and they are closed, but this barn is old. It's rickety. You can see through the slats, and you can already hear the approach of vehicles. You can hear the engines, and looking through the slats, you can see that just up the road, coming towards this barn, there are multiple vehicles heading your way. You'd have to actually go to the door and look out if you want to get a closer look. Are you going to do that?
Like the last scene in Red Dead Redemption.
Is there a second door? Or is there only one way out of this barn?
The door you came through goes right back into the lab.
Oh god.
No. Is there, like, out of this, besides the door I can't walk through and the main door, is there a back door to the barn?
No, there is not.
Is there a window?
No, it's a barn.
Could you make a new door, Billy?
Oh. Yeah.
So
You could also kill all the people around you. What's the risk, I suppose?
Jessica, Ann, it seems you've got some fun things that you might be able to do.
You actually didn't. You didn't see any of the stuff that they could do. The things
Okay.
the things that they did was a private moment that the two of them shared.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, the fact that Jessica's got a mirror image does imply that there's fun things she could do.
Anything you've got the...
There's probably
Sure.
powers involved.
So I don't know what the two of you have the ability to get up to. If you want, if you can find a way to slip through the back, burst a hole through, whatever have you, I'll go out the front and try to lead them away.
They both nod, and I think they would go in like opposite directions. Jessica wants to go to a wall, and she wants to like place her hand against the wall. She's going to do what Anne suggested, which was meditate as she like tries and focuses on this wall.
Roll me a grit check. What is your grit die?
A D4.
Okay. Roll me a grit check.
You know, Jessica's been through some shit, and Billy
We
got
need
all kinds
to-
of die bonuses. I think
We need
Jessica,
to bump up that grit.
Yeah. DM.
You have to pass through fire before you
She
get
got
your...
like literally kidnapped.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's not fire. That's like a warm simmer.
In the grand scheme of things, kidnapping is very low on the risk of list of
That's a
dangers here.
comfortable hot tub at best.
What did you roll?
At least they were human. I did explode, which was great. I got a 7.
That is great
Yeah.
because what I was looking for was a dice explosion.
Yeah.
As you walk over to the wall, I need to know, are you going to the wall for the purposes of understanding where everything is? The door you came through is on the south wall, or next to the south wall. There's like 6 to 8 feet in front of it. The main door to the barn is on the west wall. So did you go to the south, north, or east wall?
Jessica went to the north wall, and then Anne went to the east wall.
Okay. So you run up to that wall to the north. You press your hand against the wall, and you listen to what Anne said, and you close your eyes for just a moment, and you kind of do the closest thing you can imagine to meditating. You feel a slight vibration. And when you open your eyes, you are standing outside on the other side of the barn wall. You have just passed through the wood to the other side. You now can see that you are about 10 feet from the dirt road. Looking to your left, you see that there are 3 black Crown Vics that are speeding rapidly down the road towards you, kicking up dust. So that would, be to your left.
I think something rings out in Jessica's mind of what Oak said is do something unexpected. And I think the most unexpected thing Jessica can do is stick her neck out for literally everyone else. And so she is going to start just booking it towards the cars.
Okay.
Wow.
I want
My God.
I want you to roll me your grit again.
No. And that's a 2.
Okay. Anne, on the other hand, though you don't see this, Jessica, Billy, you see glancing over, you happen to notice Jessica walk to this wall, put her hands up, and then you see her just sort of fall through the wall to the other side. Behind her, on the other direction, behind where the door, behind you, on the east wall, which would be the backside of the barn, you see Anne And she just puts her hands in between two of the slats and just starts pulling boards off effortlessly. You hear the of the nails as Jessica Ann pulls about 4 or 5 of these boards, making an opening big enough to go out the back door. Or now is the back door. So, do you run out the doors as you originally intended, or do you go out this new opening?
So, I'm definitely splitting up.
Okay.
So when I look out the door, what do I see?
Have you opened it, or are you just looking through the slats?
Looking through the slats.
You see 3 Black Crown Vics rapidly approaching and shifting a little bit. You now see running along the road as fast as she can, Jessica, running right towards these cars.
Which, by the way, is a state qualifying 100-meter dash time.
We have already determined Jessica, for some reason, is a sprinter.
Her form is fucking perfect. She looks like a gazelle.
This is lore that has come up again and
Just
again. So
perfect fucking 90-degree elbow. Like, come on.
Relaxed cheeks, yeah, all that.
We're supposed to do something that, isn't normal, but I can't have, I don't know. So I'm gonna go out the door and run where they can see me, but run in a different direction than what Jessica is. So I guess I'll kind of like,
oh wow,
flank, trying to see if they will see me instead of her.
Okay, here's something we're gonna do. It's a variation on my D100 rolls. Each of you roll a D100. Whoever I roll closest to is who they are going to focus on.
Oh, Jake, getting avant-garde up in this piece.
I love my D100 rolls. What'd you get?
I got a 70 flat.
And 91.
70.
A 70 and a 91. I rolled an 89.
Oh.
As you take off running in the opposite direction, Billy, you run a good 50 to 100 yards before you realize the vehicles are not turning towards you or towards the barn directly. Instead, what is happening is they are slamming on their brakes as they split. First vehicle, they hit the brakes and they slide and just miss hitting Jessica. The second vehicle right behind them does the same thing. Behind you, or behind them, is the third vehicle coming right at you, Jessica. The brakes are slammed. I want one more grit check from you.
I was gonna say, Jessica wants to run full tilt, and she's gonna try and phase through this vehicle. She is gonna just.
Oh my god, bro!
I don't think this is
I'm going
work.
to, in this moment, I'm going to let you.
Come on, just playing chicken with them.
I want go first. Roll the die.
Can I, please? I wish I could show you my screen.
Please tell me
exploded-
I Need a Hero is playing in the background.
I exploded twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you get, dude? What did you get?
I got an 11, which is still pretty
That's
small.
awesome.
So. Okay.
Jessica won't be taken alive, bitches.
I'm, in this case, going to say that you have full narrative control as this third car is bearing down on you. They did slam on the brakes, but they're not going to stop in time, especially with you sprinting right at them. What does this look like, Jessica?
Yeah, Jessica's running full tilt. She doesn't even think. Oh shit, I'm such an idiot. And she runs through and just I imagine that as the car, it's not, I'm gonna say it's not graceful as you would imagine it. She rolls up over the hood and just manages to phase through the windshield and just continues to like scrabble over the seats like some kind of like spider monkey as she's like trying to go through, and she's like kicking people, and like it's a mess. It is in her head. She like it looked so seamless and majestic, but in reality she is just kicking and punching and slapping, and she pulls hair, and she is and then she finally makes it through to the back window, faces through, and then just is going to continue running.
So, in other words, in her mind's eye, it looks like it would in the movies, when in actuality, it's more like the first take of an action scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, all right, no, I need to redo this.
Some big beefy dude gets kicked in the jaw and just like, ow!
So I'm going to add to this because of the chaotic way in which you went through and building off of specific things you said in your narration. Jessica, you do not see what I'm about to describe because you just said you phase out the other side and you just keep running. What Billy can possibly see from where he is as you phase out the other side, of the 4 suited individuals inside, one of them is pulled along with you part way through the back window. And when you let go of him, he stops phasing through the window. Halfway.
Oh.
Inside the vehicle, the driver was pulled part way through the driver's seat. And when you passed through and stopped touching him, he stopped phasing. So he's sort of embedded in the driver's seat. The third person in the back, your chaotic kicking, your leg pushed them backwards against the passenger door in the back seat, and they started to fall backward through this door. And basically, Billy would see. There's no graceful way to see this. Their back and their ass sticking out the door.
Oh.
The fourth person in the passenger seat of this car, who was not, I guess this is very appropriate, who was literally unfazed by what just happened, but I'm done, is director Ashley Raven, who looks absolutely horrified as she looks at the chaos you just wrought within her vehicle. And as the vehicle comes to a rolling stop, because the driver's foot came off the brake, it sort of rolls off to the side. It's not even fully stopped, and she's jumped out, and she's holding a one of those large, like, think A-Team style walkie-talkie radios.
Hello.
And she just started. You can't really hear what she's saying, but she starts barking orders into this. Billy, do you keep running in the direction you were going, or do you stop?
Do they appear to be pursuing Jessica?
They do not. In fact, you see that from the other cars, now that they've stopped, you see suited individuals coming out of these other Crown Vics, and a couple of them are wearing military-looking gear, carrying rifles, bulletproof vests. They look like the guards that were run into when you were escaping from the labs. There are armed men getting out of the vehicles.
Yeah, I'll keep moving then.
Okay, you take off running. And neither of you knows where Anne is.
In the rearview mirror of that fucking SUV.
Oak, Coop, and Laz. You have that sensation that I described for Rosie, as you step through the door, you feel the ground drop out and you feel like you are falling through space. And then you feel yourself almost as if pushing through some kind of resistance. You feel yourself push through into another area that this looks almost like a white void, and you feel yourself pulled towards another open green door. And this happens a couple times where you're sort of tumbling and you can see disembodied green doors floating around as you sort of tumble through, and then you just get pulled in by a door. Finally, you are pulled through the last door, and Laz, you hit the ground first. Coop, you come tumbling through, landing on top of Laz. Followed by,
Sorry.
a moment later, Oak landing on top of you. You all are in this dog pile of arms and legs on a cold stone floor. Coop,
Ow.
you hear a familiar voice in your head. Are you okay? It is the voice of Persephone.
Oh, I try to answer it. I'm a little banged up from landing on Laz and being landed on, but I'm okay. Persephone, I was gonna try to get a hold of you. You're in danger.
Well, it appears as though my knights in shining armor have just shown up. You realize the voice you're hearing is not in your head. As you see on the cement floor in front of you, the three of you see a woman's bare feet. Looking up, you see a woman wearing a long white, kind of almost looks like it could be a dress, but it could be a nightgown. And as you look up, you see a very elegant looking woman with blonde hair that's sort of pulled up into a messy bun. And you realize you are in a room that looks like one of these well, none of you were actually in one specifically. I guess you did see a couple of them, though. When you were in the Nexus Project labs,
Oh, no.
it looks like one of the lab rooms.
Were
Look-
any of us in one of the lab rooms?
I think you opened a couple of the doors when you were running through trying to find an escape.
Well, we found weird doors. Like there was like the
Yeah, we
crystal
Right.
Scooby-Dooed
door
some
But-
of them open. Yep.
Given that this is Persephone standing in front of you, the natural conclusion is that you are in Persephone's room in the laboratory of the Nexus Project.
Fantastic.
Behind you, the door to this room is open. And you see Northern Lights and Milky Way on the other side of the door. But the door is beginning to close. You have a split-second decision. Are you going to let the door close? Are you going to jump back through? Are you going to grab Persephone? What are you going to do?
Oh,
Laz
man.
is scooping up both of the littles, and he looks to the woman. And he says, "We gotta go now," and he's running for the door.
All right, Coop and Oak being dragged behind. Oak and Coop. Damn it.
Coop does one of those dramatic, like reaches a hand back.
You see Persephone without hesitation. In fact, she just kind of almost casually goes, "Oh, we're leaving." and she follows you through the door. I would like, Laz, since you made the decision,
Goddamn right we are.
I want you to roll a d6.
Put us somewhere good, lads.
Come on, Laz. The basement of the 7 would be great.
Big money, no whammies.
Big money, no whammies.
You're gonna win a chicken dinner.
One.
A 2.
Okay. It's just down the street from the 7. It's good.
As you pass through the door, you hear the door slam shut behind you. There is this moment of that feeling of disconnectedness falling through the void of space. And suddenly you feel yourself and your friends fall collapsing into a very soft, comfortable, springy surface, followed somewhat more gracefully behind you as she lands in a sort of a slowed down but nonetheless still heroic 3-point stance. You have landed on your bed in your grandparents' house, Laz. You are in your bedroom in Twilight Grove.
Wow. Laz has a beautiful woman on his bed.
Well, she landed on the floor next to the bed, but he's still got a beautiful woman in his bedroom.
His bedroom,
Wow.
at least.
Along with 2 12-year-olds, so...
Yeah, we should probably...
Never mind.
Yeah.
And that is where we are going to end this session.
Yay.
With
Good job, team.
Technically a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way party split.
Yay.
No biggie.
We are the best at planning.
It was unexpected.
Wait, where did Rosie end up again?
Rosie's in the basement of the 7.
The basement. Okay, Rosie.
And the 7 are there.
Apparently they're there.
Yep.
Nice.
Also, notably,
Okay.
there is obviously power has been restored because Rosie, you see lights on in the basement of the 7, and vehicles were driving towards the others. Either the power's been restored or they're outside of the area of influence. So,
noted. All right, team. Nice work.
this
Good
was
job.
definitely a
We lived.
this was a wild ride.
And Oak isn't on a timer anymore.
As far as you know. Oh, did I say that out loud?
I mean,
that was
somewhere.
funny. That was funny, Jake. Thanks.
Somewhere in some timeline, he is on a timer.
All
He
right.
is still on a
I have made a note that I owe you a map that has the ley lines and hotspots annotated. And I need to know what items that Oak and damn it, Coop
It's cool. It's cool. At this
That
point, we're so
Coop-
used to it.
and Billy, I swear I almost just auto-corrected myself to Thorgarn. Because I am so used to it being Jeremy and Ted that I mix up Talmud and Thorgarn. I don't even know what game we're in
Lives.
anymore.
He lives.
Yeah. Wow. There was just a whole lot going on there. There were a lot of ways that it could have gone. Just for fun, I will tell you that the 2 locations that didn't come up, that could have come up, were the lighthouse and the stapler house.
Ooh.
Sounds like we got lucky.
Maybe. Sounds like Laz might get lucky. I'm just kidding.
Congratulations!
Not with 2 12-year-olds
No.
there. This isn't Baldur's
No. All right, so
Jesus.
So, yeah, that was a wild session.
Holy shit.
This was one of those where I knew a lot was going to potentially happen. I mean, really, when you think about it, the whole first, before the break, all that kind of stuff very well could have been the kind of thing where I said, and that's where we end the session.
We've had 2 sessions in a row with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're 22 episodes in. It's time for major revelations and shakeups to happen.
Heavy-handed.
And what I love about this kind of a session where I have a loose idea of what's going to happen because so much is dependent on all of you. There are there were several contingencies or outcomes, I guess, that were based entirely on individual choices. It's very, very Baldur's Gate, I guess. You guys will have to do another playthrough to see what could have happened. But yeah, thank you to everybody who tuned in to join us tonight. Shout out to, as always, to the people that drop bits or support with subscriptions. Calling out Carrie for a shout out, or Carrie for a sub, and Hadrian X dropping in with the gifting 5 subs. And Tomiko, did you drop 5 subs tonight?
I didn't tonight.
Oh, okay. I must have
That's
been looking
totally
at
fine, Tomiko.
I might have been looking at
Tomiko's
a different. It doesn't tell me sometimes on the notifications, but you have done it in the past. So
No, my support this week went to the poor unfortunate souls over at Iron Gods. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
They needed it desperately.
Yep. So
And start them off strong, you know.
Yeah. I guess real quick, I want to mention this before we do our final outro. Is stop. Okay.
Okay. Oh.
Final outro is a reminder that on Saturday, September 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/miniterrain domain, we will be playing host to Todd Stashwick's Nerd Circus Presents Legends of Eleonora, The Light of the Child, benefiting the Pavlov Foundation. This is a Dungeons & Dragons charity live stream event with Dungeon Master Todd Stashwick, celebrity guest players Matthew Lillard, Mika Burton, Tawny Newsom, Jack Quaid, and 2 guest players, one of which has already been chosen through auction, and there is currently, the link is in the chat, there is currently another auction seat that is open. Since we started, I said we were at 1,050 on that seat. That seat is now at $1,750. This auction does go until September 27th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Yes, this is a high ticket item. This is a high dollar value, but this is also going to benefit Pavlov Foundation and the work they do for with children with cancer. They have some amazing programs. One of which is I have a sticker from. It's a little pea and a little camera. It's their Shutterbug program where they teach some of these kids photography, and you can actually also benefiting. You can go to their site and you can buy prints of some of these kids' photographs that they've taken. It's really cool programs that they have. We are super stoked and excited to get to play host to this. And we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with Todd and with Lauren from Pavlov to prepare for this. What we are hoping is the first of more of these in the future. So stay tuned, because MTD is the place to be for this event. Tomorrow night, you can tune in to Nerdarchy at 8 p.m. Eastern to catch me and Ted, along with our Game Master Robin and friends Asa, Carlos, and Frag, as we play the Old Guard, which is what I've been... I keep referring to it because I think Robin described it as this at one point, as Da Vinci Punk. It has a very... sort of Assassin's Creed meets D&D sort of feel to it.
Oh, yes.
And it's just it's a great setting, and I love getting the after almost 5 years of Ted as my DM, it's nice to have him as one of my companions in a party. So it's a lot of fun. So check us out there. And then we've got some dates coming up where some of us will be over on Erasmus Expeditions for a couple different games that are coming up. We've got a future Fiasco game Calamity was in my head for some reason.
That works too.
A future Fiasco game coming
It's gonna be a
up.
calamity.
And we had to reschedule, but we have our second is it called
Household.
All the Small Things?
All the little things.
All the
yeah.
little things. It's
Small things.
not quite
True
the
care.
song.
True
Close, yep.
But that is a game of Household. I missed the first session, so I'm looking forward to see how Jeremy has my character enter in the second session. Just so many great games going on in the community. If you're not already a part of it, please do check out the Discord. !Discord in the chat is the link to our Discord. We have a wonderful community. Right now, the hot topic is the Baldur's Gate 3 channels. Lots of discussions going around that awesome game. But there's also places for people to meet up to organize games and see what's going on. We'd love to see you there. So with that, I just want to say again a huge thank you to everybody. Thanks for the support. Thank you for watching. If you watch silently in the background, lurking, or watching later with us on VOD, thank you. We appreciate you. And as always, the hugest of thank yous to this amazing group of people that I get to play this game with. The people that trust me to just go blindly into a story and make stuff happen or place puzzles, obstacles, or tempt them with opportunities, and know that they're just going to go wild and go all in on it. So a huge thank you to Chad, Tomiko, Carrie, Ted, Jeremy, and Em, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
Well, can I offer anybody?